My girlfriend looked at me and said, "It is just a dinner. Stop being jealous." I paused, then replied calmly, "All right, go." Later, I walked into the same restaurant, but not alone. I came with her coworker. The moment she saw us, I watched the smile vanish from her face. I am Jake, 31 male. My girlfriend is Kate, 28 female. We have been together a little over a year and a half, living together for the last 8 months. If you looked at her Instagram, you would think she had life completely figured out. Perfect outfits, carefully angled lattes, captions about boundaries and protecting her peace. If you looked at my bank statements, you would see how that peace was funded. This all started 3 weeks ago, but the specific moment I cannot get out of my head happened last Friday. Kate came home late, heels in hand, already annoyed before I even spoke. She dropped her bag on the counter and said, super casually, "So, I am grabbing dinner tomorrow with a coworker." I asked which coworker. Not aggressively, just asked. She sighed like I had asked her to explain gravity. "Evan, from work. It is just a dinner. You do not need to do this." That tone, that sharp, dismissive tone she uses when she has already decided I am wrong. I said, "To what?" "Ask a question." She rolled her eyes. "Be jealous." God, it is exhausting. You are acting insecure. That word again, insecure, her favorite way to shut things down. I told her it felt weird, that late dinners with male coworkers were not exactly my favorite thing. She laughed. Actually laughed. Then she said the line that keeps replaying in my head. "It is just a dinner. Stop being jealous." I looked at her for a second, waiting for any sign she cared how I felt. Nothing. Just irritation, like I was a task she did not want to deal with. So, I said, "All right, go." Her face relaxed instantly. She smiled, kissed my cheek like she would want something, and went back to her phone. Conversation over. What she did not know was that all right was not agreement. It was clarity, because for the first time, instead of wondering if I was crazy, I realized I was done playing dumb, and I already knew exactly where they were going. The next day, I could not focus on anything. Work emails blurred together. My phone stayed face down on my desk like it might bite me. I kept replaying the conversation the way Kate said jealous, like it was something dirty, something embarrassing I should apologize for feeling. Around noon, she texted me. "Dinner is at 7 o'clock. Probably be late. Do not wait up. No heart emoji, no love you, just a notification." I typed "have fun" and deleted it. Typed "okay" and deleted that too. Eventually I sent nothing. That felt new. Good, even. Here is some context I probably should have included earlier. Kate works in marketing for a mid-size lifestyle brand. Lots of team dinners, lots of blurred boundaries disguised as networking. Evan, the coworker, had come up before. Always in passing. Always with this little laugh like I was supposed to find it charming that he texted her memes at midnight. I had met him once. Company party. He shook my hand without looking at me, and then immediately turned back to Kate to finish his sentence. She did not notice, or did not care. At 6:30, Kate came out of the bedroom dressed like she was going on a first date. Not jeans and a top casual. Full effort. Hair done. That perfume she only wears when she wants to be noticed. I said, "You look nice." She checked herself in the mirror. "I know. No, thank you." She grabbed her bag and paused at the door. "Do not be weird tonight, okay?" "I am not going anywhere," I said. She smirked. "Good." The door shut behind her and the apartment felt quieter than it ever had. That is when I did something I am not proud of, but I am also not sorry for. I checked her location. She had shared it with me months ago for safety, her words. I had not opened it in weeks, but there it was. A little dot moving across the map, straight to a downtown restaurant I recognized immediately. Not casual, not quick bite after work. The kind of place you make reservations for. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I did the math in my head and I made a call. Because if it was really just a dinner, then no one should have a problem with me showing up too. The call was to Mark. Mark has been my friend since college. Calm, observant, the kind of guy who notices things before you do, and does not say anything until you are ready to hear it. He answered on the second ring. "Hey," he said. "You okay? Can you meet me for dinner?" I asked. A pause. "Right now?" "Yeah." Another pause. Longer this time. "Where?" I named the restaurant, same one Kate was parked at on my phone. Mark did not ask why. He just said, "Give me 20. I showered, changed, put on a jacket that did not scream trying too hard. The whole time, my hands were steady. That scared me more than if I had been angry. I felt detached, like I had already stepped back and was watching myself do this. We got there at 7:18. Host stand was busy. Soft lighting, low music, definitely not just grabbing food. I gave my name. The hostess smiled and said, "Right this way." As we walked past the bar, I saw her. Kate was sitting in a booth, angled inward, laughing. Not her polite laugh, the real one, the one I had not heard in a while. Evan was across from her, leaning in too close, elbow on the table like he belonged there. My stomach did not drop. It went quiet. Mark noticed before I said anything. That her? Yeah. We were seated 2 tables away, close enough to see her expressions, far enough that she had not noticed me yet. I watched her brush her hair behind her ear, watched her nod while Evan talked, eyes locked on his mouth, watched her pick up her phone and set it face down on the table, something she never does with me. She looks comfortable, Mark said quietly. She does. The waiter came. We ordered drinks. I did not look at Kate again until the drinks arrived. That is when she turned her head. Her eyes landed on me first, then Mark. The color drained from her face so fast, it was almost impressive. Her smile collapsed mid-expression, like someone had pulled a plug. She froze. Evan followed her gaze, confused. He turned, saw us, then looked back at her like he had missed a punchline. Kate straightened in her seat. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. I raised my glass slightly, not smug, not angry, just present. She did not wave, did not smile. She just stared. And in that moment, I knew something important. If this really was just a dinner, she would not have looked like she had been caught doing something wrong. But she did, and she could not look away. Kate recovered fast. I will give her that. She leaned toward Evan and said something I could not hear. Probably a lie delivered with that soft smile she practices in the mirror. Evan glanced back at us again, longer this time, then nodded like he had been reassured. Kate stood up. She did not walk toward me right away. She went to the bathroom first. Classic move. Buy time, regain control. Mark took a sip of his drink. You good? Yeah, I said, and I meant it. I felt weirdly calm, like the decision had already been made. Somewhere deep in my body just had not caught up yet. She came back a minute later and walked straight to our table. What are you doing here? She asked. Low voice, tight smile. Not high, not what a coincidence. Straight to accusation. Having dinner, I said. You said it was just a dinner. Her jaw tightened. With him? I glanced at Mark. Yeah. She crossed her arms. This is really immature. That word again, immature, another favorite? Mark looked up at her. Hey, I am Mark. She ignored him completely, eyes locked on me. Did you follow me? No, I said. You told me where you were going. I just decided to eat too. Her nostrils flared. You trying to make a scene? I looked around. No one was staring. No raised voices, just her. There is no scene, I said, unless you make one. She leaned in closer. You are embarrassing me. That is when it hit me. Not guilt, not fear, annoyance. Because nowhere in her tone was concern about how I felt, only about how this looked, how it affected her. Evan appeared behind her then, like he had finally worked up the courage to approach. Hey, he said awkwardly. Everything okay? Kate answered before I could. No. He is being weird. Mark raised an eyebrow. I stayed quiet. Evan looked between us. I did not realize this was like a thing. Kate laughed, sharp and fake. It is not. He just gets like this. Something about that sentence flipped a switch in me. I stood up. Enjoy your dinner, I said to Evan. Then I looked at Kate. Text me when you are done. Her eyes widened. Excuse me. I mean it, I said calmly. Take your time. And I walked back to my table. Behind me, I heard her hiss my name. I did not turn around. For the first time, I was not chasing the explanation. I was watching her scramble without one. Mark and I ate in silence for a few minutes. Not awkward silence, observant silence. Kate did not come back to her table right away. I could see Evan talking, gesturing with his hands like he was trying to understand what the hell just happened. Kate sat stiff, nodding too fast, eyes flicking toward me every few seconds like she was checking to see if I was still there. She is spiraling, Mark said quietly. I know. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Finally, Kate stood up again and walked over, phone already in her hand like a shield. We need to talk, she said. I did not look up from my plate. We are. No, alone. I met her eyes. You said it was just dinner, so let us not make it weird. Her mouth tightened. You are doing this on purpose. Am I? I asked. Because I feel like I am just existing in the same space as you, something you seemed fine with until now. She lowered her voice. Evan thinks you are my brother. I almost laughed. Mark actually did. Kate shot him a look. This is not funny. It kind of is, Mark said. You erased him from the story so cleanly you forgot to update the cast list. She turned back to me, furious now. Why could you not just trust me? There it was, the pivot. Make it about my failure. I did trust you, I said. That is why you are here instead of explaining yourself at home. She stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. So what? You just wanted to catch me. I wanted to see you, I said. And I did. Her phone buzzed. She glanced down. Another message from Evan, probably asking where she went. She exhaled sharply. I am leaving. Okay, that was not the answer she wanted. She hesitated. You are not coming? I shook my head. I am still eating. She stood there for a moment longer, like she was waiting for me to panic, to apologize, to pull her back into position. I did not. She went back to Evan, grabbed her bag, said something quick. He looked confused, then annoyed, then uncomfortable. She did not look at me when she walked out. Mark set his fork down. You realize this is not over, right? Yeah, I said. But it started. Because, for the first time, Kate had lost control of the narrative, and she hated that more than anything. Kate came home after midnight. I was on the couch, television on but muted, just sitting there, not waiting in the dramatic sense, just present. When she walked in and saw me awake, I watched the calculation happen behind her eyes. She kicked off her shoes harder than necessary. So you embarrassed me tonight. No, hello. I muted the television completely. You embarrassed yourself. Her head snapped toward me. Wow, unbelievable. You stalk me, show up uninvited, make things awkward with my coworker, and I am the problem? I stayed calm. That seemed to bother her more than anything else. You told me where you were going. That does not mean you get to insert yourself. You said it was just dinner, I replied. If that is true, nothing should have changed. She laughed bitterly. You are twisting things. This is exactly why I did not want to tell you. Tell me what? I asked. She hesitated, just a fraction of a second, but I saw it. There is nothing to tell, she snapped. God, you are exhausting. She went straight for the bedroom. I did not follow, did not ask where she had been, did not demand explanations. That silence hit her on the stairs. Are you not even going to say anything? She called back. I already did, I said. She stormed back into the living room. So, that is it. You just do not care now? That one landed. Not because it hurt, but because it revealed the truth. She did not want reassurance. She wanted a reaction. I care, I said. I just do not feel like competing anymore. Her face hardened. Competing with who? With whoever gets the version of you I do not. She stared at me, arms crossed, defensive. You are being dramatic. No, I said quietly. I am being honest. That shut her up. She stood there for a long moment, like she was waiting for me to backtrack, apologize, say I overreacted. I did not. Finally, she scoffed. I am going to bed. Okay. She walked away again, this time slower, like she expected me to stop her. I did not. Lying there alone, I realized something important. This was not about Evan, or dinner, or jealousy. It was about how easily she dismissed me when she thought I would not leave, and how uncomfortable she suddenly felt when she was not so sure. Because once you stop chasing clarity, the truth gets loud on its own. The next morning felt fake. Kate moved around the apartment like everything was normal, too normal, humming softly while making coffee, asking if I wanted eggs like she had not spent the night before, calling me exhausting. I watched her from the kitchen table, realizing how familiar this pattern was. Tension, deflection, reset. Pretend nothing happened. And wait for me to follow her back into alignment. Are you still mad? She asked casually, pouring almond milk into her mug. I am not mad, I said. She paused. Then what? I thought about that for a second. I am paying attention. That earned me an eye roll. Jesus, you are being cryptic again. No, I said, I am just not filling in the gaps for you anymore. She sat across from me, phone already in her hand. You are acting like I cheated on you. I did not say that. But that is what you are implying. I leaned back in my chair. If you feel accused, maybe ask yourself why. Her expression shifted. Defensive. Sharp. You do not trust me. I trust patterns, I replied. And I trust how people act when they think they are being watched versus when they think they are not. She scoffed. So now you are analyzing me? I always have. I said. I just stopped ignoring what I saw. That shut her up again. She hated pauses she did not control. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it quickly, then locked the screen and placed it face down, too deliberately. Evan asked if I was okay, she said, like she was daring me to react. And? I asked. And I told him things were complicated. Are they? I asked. She hesitated. You are making them complicated. I shook my head. You made them unclear. I just stopped pretending they were not. She stood abruptly. I have to get to work, okay? Again, not the reaction she wanted. At the door, she turned back. I do not like who you are being right now. I met her eyes. You liked me better when I was confused. She left without another word. Sitting alone, I finally admitted the quiet truth I had been circling since the restaurant. I was not trying to fix this anymore. I was trying to see how far she would go to avoid taking responsibility. and something told me she was about to show me exactly who she was when the leverage disappeared. By that evening, the apartment felt different, not tense, emptier, like something important had already left, even though all the furniture was still there. Kate came home later than usual, again. She did not announce herself this time, just dropped her keys in the bowl and stood there, watching me like she was trying to read the room before stepping into it. "You are quiet," she said. "I have been quiet for a while," I replied. "You are just noticing now." She sat down across from me, folding one leg under herself, defensive posture disguised as casual. "Are you trying to punish me?" "No," I said. "I am trying not to lie to myself anymore." She exhaled sharply. "You are acting like I owe you some kind of confession." "I am acting like I am done begging for basic respect." That hit harder than I expected. Her expression cracked, just slightly. "You do not get to control who I have dinner with," she snapped. "I never tried to," I said. "I asked to be considered." Silence. Then she said something that finally clarified everything. "I did not tell you because I knew you would react like this." I nodded slowly. "So, you made a decision about my feelings before giving me a chance to have them." She opened her mouth, closed it, looked away. "That is not fair," she said. "No," I agreed, "but it is convenient." Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. She did not grab it immediately this time. That hesitation said more than any explanation could. "Is he texting you?" I asked calmly. She did not answer. "Kate." "Yes," she said, "but it does not mean anything." I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. "Then why does everything fall apart when I am in the same room?" She stood up abruptly. "I cannot do this. You are interrogating me." "I am asking questions you do not want to answer," I said. "There is a difference." She grabbed her jacket. "I need space." That word again, space. Her emergency exit whenever accountability showed up. "Take it," I said. She paused at the door, clearly expecting something else. Anger, fear, apologies. Instead, I added, "just do not expect me to wait in the dark anymore." Her eyes flicked to mine. For the first time, I saw uncertainty instead of control. She left without slamming the door, and I sat there realizing the strangest thing of all. I was not scared of losing her. I was relieved to stop losing myself. Kate did not come home that night. She texted around 11:40 post-meridium staying at a friend's. "Do not wait up," I did not reply. That was new for both of us. The next morning, I woke up before my alarm. The apartment was silent in a way that felt intentional. Her side of the bed untouched. Closet door slightly open, like she had grabbed things in a hurry. I made coffee and sat at the table, scrolling through my phone without actually reading anything. At 8:17 anti-meridium, my phone buzzed. "We need to talk." Like, actually talk. I stared at it for a long time before answering. "Okay," she came back that afternoon. Different energy this time. Softer, careful, like someone approaching a dog that might bite. She set her bag down slowly. "I have been thinking." "Good," I said. She frowned. "See that tone?" "No tone," I replied. "Just listening." She sat across from me, hands folded. "I feel like you were pulling away instead of fighting for us." I nodded. "I stopped fighting you." "That is different." She looked genuinely confused. "Relationships take work." "They take honesty," I said, "not management." That landed hard. She swallowed. "Evan and I, we flirt sometimes. It is harmless." There it was. The half-confession designed to minimize damage. "Harmless to who?" I asked. She looked down. "I never planned for it to become a problem." "That is the thing," I said quietly. "You planned around me instead of with me." Her eyes filled, but I felt nothing rush in to save her. No instinct to comfort, just clarity. "I did not cheat," she said quickly. "I did not accuse you," I replied. "I just do not recognize the way you treat me anymore." She reached for my hand. I did not pull away. I did not hold on either. "I need to know," she said, voice shaking. "Are you done?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. The defensiveness, the fear of losing control, the way everything was about optics, not connection. "I think I was done before the restaurant," I said. I just had not admitted it yet. She went very still. "I do not want to be with someone who only values me when I am compliant," I continued. "And I do not want to compete with people you swear do not matter." Tears fell then, real ones. But for the first time, they were not enough to change my mind. Because the moment you stop negotiating your self-respect, things become painfully clear. And I finally knew exactly what I needed to do next. I did not pack that day. That surprised her. Kate hovered while I moved around the apartment, opening drawers, closing them again, touching familiar things without claiming them. She kept waiting for the dramatic moment. Suitcase, raised voices, something she could point to later and say, "This is when it blew up." But that is not how it ended. "I thought you would leave," she said quietly. I am, I replied. Just not like that. She frowned. Then how? I am detaching, I said. There is a difference. I told her I would be staying with Mark for a bit. Told her we could talk logistics later. Rent, lease, timelines. I kept my voice even, calm, like this was already settled. She did not cry this time. She looked panicked. You are really not going to fight, she said. I met her eyes. You do not fight for someone who keeps you as an option. That is when it finally hit her. Not that she might lose me, but that she already had. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, my jacket, the simple stuff, the things that were unquestionably mine. At the door, she said my name one last time, softer than I had heard it in weeks. I never meant to hurt you. I nodded. I know. You just meant to prioritize yourself. She did not respond. I walked out, not angry, not devastated, just clear. Because here is the part I did not understand until it was over. Jealousy was not the problem. Control was. Dismissal was. The slow erosion of being treated like a background character in my own relationship. The restaurant was not the betrayal. Her reaction was. And the moment I stopped arguing for my place in her life was the moment I finally took it back. If you have read this far and you are wondering whether you are overreacting in your own relationship, ask yourself one question. Would they still choose you if you stopped explaining why you deserve to be chosen? That answer tells you everything.